Fayat, Connor Daly and Robert Vizoyu. That's our top six. Eleanor's championship leader in 7th. And as you quite rightly said, Kujala, Niederhauser, actually another personal best in his 2nd sector, coming towards the end of the lap. We'll watch with interest to see what Patrick Niederhauser can do, 2nd in the championship at the moment. What is the Swiss driver able to do at the top of the grid? No, he didn't do a particularly good sector 3. Must have made a mistake somewhere. Looking at it, because he lost an awful lot of time in sector 3, Alex.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame, really. I thought he was going to really stick in a good time, but maybe he's got another lap in those tyres, and we'll see what he's got.
So there we go, confirmation as we sit with just over 8 minutes and 40 seconds remain. It's pretty close between Regalia, Kurjus and Vino. Vayat a little bit further down, Connor Daly, Vizoyu, Elenis and Niederhauser in 8th. Let's have a little look down the order for those British fans watching with interest to see how their favourite drivers are getting on. There you go, Williamson and Yellowly, 10th and 11th, 4 tenths off. McKee also in 12th, Jack Harvey in 15th. A little bit further down the order at the moment.
Again, it's a personal best for Theo Elenas and Patrick Niederhauser, almost identical first sectors. So the top two in the championship really going at it for 7th and 8th at the moment. But obviously, they're going to be wanting a bit more. And Theo's actually done another personal best in sector 2, and Patrick's isn't quite as strong. So we'll see what Theo comes across the line and does now.
Yeah, and of course that section there going through turn 12, really a tricky section that's called out a lot of people every time. Has Elenis done enough to put himself to the top of the pile? Just misses out, 1:22.761, 0.158. But as you quite rightly said, most importantly, it's put him ahead of Niederhauser by quite some way. Niederhauser, interestingly, did a personal best in sectors 1 and 3, but not particularly strong in sector 2.
Yeah, and Theo's actually gone purple in sector 1, and he's actually improved again in sector 1. So hopefully we might be able to see him fight for pole as Dino Zamparelli comes across the line to do a really strong lap time ago, P6. So that Marussia Manukar is obviously working really well around here today.
Yeah, the Marussia Manukars of, as you said, Theo Elenis, Dino Zamparelli, and a little bit further down, Ryan Cullen, who we saw, of course, have that off, but he's back out there. I think we've looked at his times. No, in fact, I think that's from the earlier sector. It's still showing the time from what he finished earlier on, because it's just showing 2 laps completed, and then he had his off, the young Irishman. It's a big step up for him from where he's been before for Ryan, isn't it? Because he raced in BARC Formula Renault and some Formula 4. Of course, the Cullen team winning Bark Formula Renault in the hands of the very, very talented Scott Malvern, a man who should be out here racing in GP3, in my opinion, but that's another story. But yeah, Cullen Racing doing a good job, but it's a big step for him. As let's watch the end of Elenis's lap. See if he does improve. It certainly looked very, very strong last time through. No, slightly slower, if anything.
But he's improved in sector 3 again. It's just that sector 2 that let him down very, very slightly. But at the end of the day, it's not a big a big amount to grumble at. P2 is still quite good. But we'll see if he's, like we said, no, it seems like he's backed off this lap now. Maybe he'll just park it, or maybe he's got another set of tyres left to go. I'm not too sure.
So let's watch with interest to see who the other drivers are that we're going to really need to pay attention. Yellowly's on a good lap at the moment. His personal fastest, sector 1. It's a very short sector 1 though, isn't it, Alex? It's just literally you go through turns 1, turn 2, and on the run down to turn 3 is where the first sector finishes, whereas sector 2 is a very long, complicated part of the lap. Yeah,
unfortunately, I don't think Theo Elenas is going to be Nick's best friend at the moment. It looks like he balked him quite badly going through sector 1, and Nick looked like he backed out of that lap. But see Danny Kvyat coming to the end of his lap. He's not on anything.
No, not particularly
special.
Strong, is it, on the first couple of sectors that he's put in, unless he puts in an awesome sector 3, like a purple sector 3. Better, he did improve slightly though, went from 6th to 5th, so it was a good sector 3, but not quite good enough. We're watching Lewis Williamson, who's currently sitting in 10th position. His time of a 1:22.948 is just over 3/10 of a second away. That's how competitive it is here, Alex.
I was literally just thinking that 4 tenths covers the top 11. And everyone, Jack Harvey again going green in sector 1. Hopefully Jack can really stick it up there.
Yeah, we know the level of ability of the mixture of drivers we've got here. Zamparelli still in 6th position. That's going to be a really good performance by him. Looking back at how they got on qualifying-wise last time out. Well, last time it was Elenis, Niederhauser, Daly, Yellowly, Vino, Regalia, Vayat and Harvey. That was the top 8 when we were in Barcelona for the opening round of the championship. Just over 4 minutes remaining here, so that's going to be enough for probably, what, another 3 flying laps if you're on it?
Yeah, hopefully. Jack looks like he's backed out of this lap, but we've just seen a purple sector from Aravino in sector 1. It looks like everybody's already come in for their last set of tyres, and hopefully Jack can start a good lap here. He had a really good first sector, but maybe sector 2 made a mistake or caught some traffic, but hopefully he can stick a lap in now.
So watching with interest to see what Vino does in the second sector. Well, the second sector is usually around about a 40-second sector, so compared to the 19 seconds of sector 1, it's over twice the length of it. Sector 3, meanwhile, is sort of a low 22-second sector, so it gives you a bit of an understanding of the mixture of elements that you have to consider at this very technical track. And anti-clockwise, as we mentioned earlier, particularly demanding on car and driver in terms of setup and in terms of driver physically. Yeah,
being an anti-clockwise circuit, it's a bit different to what most drivers, as we just see Nick Yellerly go P1 on a 22.5, awesome lap there, personal best in all 3 sectors. Great job by Nick there.
Yeah, Yellerly, absolutely superb. There is the Englishman from the Midlands who's been racing, like yourself, in Formula Renault UK, a race winner at Brands Hatch back in 2010, and then moved into racing in GP3. Oh, a bit of oversteer from Niederhauser. That's going to cost him some time.
Yeah, that's going to cost him dear. But to be fair, the timing screen right now has been lit up by purple and green sectors. We'll just see Regalia do a personal best in sector 1, and Danny Kvyat has set an awesome first sector. And he's just gone personal best in sector 2 as well, so we could see him potentially taking that first spot away from Nick Yellerly.
Yeah, Daly, purple in sector 2, so just to confirm, if you're not familiar with the greens and the purples, green is a driver's personal best, purple is the fastest of any driver in that sector. So let's watch to see, can Kvyat do it? Can he get ahead of Nick Yellerly at the top of the timing screens? He does by 0.061, a superb lap by the Russian. Absolutely.
And Connor Daly takes it away already.
Yeah, Daly just nips it immediately after. So I think we're going to see this happening over these next 2 minutes as off goes Adderley Fong.
Oh, that could scupper everybody's chances now. That looks like it's probably going to be it now.
Yeah, that's a pretty tricky place, isn't it? That's going to require a red flag. Yes, a red flag with 2 minutes remaining, or just under 2 minutes. That, I'm pretty sure, is going to see the end of this session, in which case it would be Connor Daly, the American driver of Irish descent, who's going to be taking pole position here. And with that, will be putting himself in a superb position on a circuit, which is, you tell us, Alex, you've driven on here. Most people seem to think it's pretty tough to overtake. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is pretty difficult, but I want to see if they actually finish the session now. That would be enough time for them to start one last flyer if they think that they've got enough life in those tyres, and certainly enough time to put heat in. It depends how confident you are, and if you really think it's worth going out there and trying to go for one last attempt. But it seems like everyone's taking their pit boards off the pit wall and calling it a day, so it seems, but we'll wait to see.
Well, championship-wise, let's look at who the significant drivers are. Well, Elenis, the championship leader, down in 7th. The man that's currently second in the championship, Niederhauser, outside of the top 10. Ira Vino, third in the championship, just 3 points behind Niederhauser. He's up there, currently in 5th on the grid. Connor Daly, the man that we've just seen take what we think is going to be pole position, assuming the session doesn't restart, or if it does, that obviously nobody goes any quicker. Well, he's sitting 4th in the championship. He's currently some 18 points away from championship leader Theo Elenis, and Kevin Corjus, who is currently 6th in the times. He's 5th in the championship. Nick Yellerly, 3rd fastest at the moment, 6th in the championship.
Yeah, it's, like I said, I think everybody's queuing up to have one last attempt. I can see Vinio in there, Regalia in there. Looks like a Red Bull car behind Vinio. It seems like everybody's going to be going for one last attempt. I mean, why not? There's still enough time. I may as well. If that was me, I'd definitely be trying to give it one last crack.
Well, you'd have to give it a go when it's this close. You can see Adderley Fong skipping away from his car. He's going to be a little bit disappointed with that, to say the least. But it looks like, most importantly, he's okay, but the car looks fine as well. So although he's going to be a bit frustrated with that, it's not the best thing to have to do on a day like today, is it? To go for a little jog across the circuit. Going to get a lift back though, so you won't have to go too far.
No, I'd much rather be sitting in Connor Daly's car right now.
Yeah, absolutely. There he is. And as I said, what a year he's had so far, racing in the Indy 500, which is for an American driver, especially with the heritage that Connor has with his dad having raced in that. That's an incredible experience for him. I think he was quite blown away by it, but also having made his debut in GP2 earlier in the year. So pretty diverse, but he doesn't seem to be affected. It can sometimes when you have drivers go off and do lots of different series, it can affect how they perform in their main focus championship, if you like.
No, but it seems like it's done him really well, and don't know what he's shaking his head there about. Maybe his engineer, I said, have you got any oversteer? Nope. No. She's perfect.
Do you want to go back out again? No. That might be it. It could be just that he's frustrated the fact that they're going to restart the session. I would think that if I was him, and I know what you'd be thinking if you were him, you'd be going, yeah, no, that'll do. Let's leave it there. We'll take that one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, call it quits, lads.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, just as a racing driver, how selfish you get, isn't it, when it comes to things like that? Because that's what you're there for. You're there to beat everybody. And at the moment, Daly's done the best job. But it was interesting because Yellowly's lap was superb. Violet's lap was superb, and then Daly just sneaked in. So that lap, though, is 0.2 of a second quicker than anybody else. That's a very, very impressive lap by Connor Daly.
Yeah, I think it's a mega lap. But it's like I said, the timing screens were just being lit up by green and purple. It was really coming alive then as Connor's getting out of the car, and he's going to go stand by the timing screens and wait anxiously.
Yeah, there's nothing worse from a driver's point of view, is there, when you're just sitting there looking at the sectors, looking at the VMAXs, looking at all the things and going, oh God, he's gone quick there and he's not so quick. And you're just hoping that the sector will come up as yellow, which tells you that it's not an improvement on their best. If it comes up as green or purple, then you cross your fingers and hope, well, hopefully the rest of the lap won't be as good for them.
You're praying to see yellow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been an interesting qualifying session so far, in that we saw some strong times early on, so a very, very strong time right at the beginning of the session from Vino amongst other drivers. And then obviously had a bit of a quiet period where everybody sort of settled down, and now this mad rush, and it looks like it's a second set syndrome, isn't it, by the looks of things? Yeah,
I think everyone's just going to have to reset, and you just got to set yourself up for one Banzai lap. Just give it everything you've got. Nothing left to give as we see Connor there. He's obviously going to go get changed and go weigh, and hope his car's no doubt going to be scrutinised quite heavily tonight.
Yeah, it's a normal process though, isn't it? It's the same for all of the teams, but obviously they focus very much on